about my city, a little town where I'm from, where everybody's southern raised, just as good as they come. Backwoods and mossy oak and mud holes. And back then we only ate what the farm grow. Man, I miss some days how we played on them dirt roads. And out of towners came with respect, cause they know we all close. Yeah, Southern pride, toting gun folks. Welcome to my city, I-75 South, just north of Live Oak.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, time of town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We ready up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
It's nothing like our dirt roads, you can bet that, son. I'm from a city, by any means, we gon' protect our guns. I hang with the rednecks and geekies. We get up in big trucks in the backwoods like Indians and teepees. This the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings. Wildcats, blazing, title town license. Winners, pretty girls with country grammar. When I say about Austin, Georgia, I ain't talking about Atlanta. This a different type of city, where the woods are pretty, but get gritty. You hear me? What you know about that 229? You can find us on the Florida, Georgia line, where I reside.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, time of town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We ready up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey. Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, time of town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We ready up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
Hey, welcome to the 229. Welcome to Thursday night. I almost said Thursday Night Live because it feels like this should be an episode of Saturday Night Live, I suppose. But it's not. It's Thursday night. It's close enough to the end of the week that we can start celebrating. Hey, welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to the Viking Nation Live, I suppose. Or should I temporarily change? Should I change the name to Welcome to As Lowndes County Turns? Or as the world turns, if it were. Listen, we might as well start laughing about it, right? Because, man, it just seems like we always have drama around here. Not just Lowndes, whether you're Valdosta, Lowndes, other towns in this area. We just always seem to have drama around here. Casey Harrell, yeah, I love that intro song too. I think I'm going to keep it going into next season because, man, that song basically really epitomizes not just Lowndes County living, but South Georgia living, doesn't it? Anyway, so welcome to the 229. Welcome to my city. This is Wintersville. Wayne Gladden, the video is freezing. Let me switch over the internet service. Hold on one second. This might be a temporary hiccup. So they'll tell me real fast. Am I still live? Because I just switched over the internet service from Wi-Fi to the hardline wire service. So Wayne, can you still get me? So I'm hoping that I'm not freezing because we have a lot to talk about tonight. So am I still on? I hope I am. It says that I'm live on the screen. So we'll see. Hey, if you guys Yeah. Okay. Tommy Sellers, thank you so much for replying. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Not just the current dramatic situation that's going on right now in at Lowndes High School and the coaching situation, but we got a lot to celebrate too, and that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys tonight was some of the highlights from the playoff game that we just had up in Carrollton last Saturday night. And so there was a couple of plays there that I wanted to point out in particular how close, well, I shouldn't say how close the game was, but the game was closer than the final score led on, right? But we did get beat soundly throughout the game, but it could have been you good out in Owsley. That fantastic. So it sounds like all the wattage is going out there, and you guys get me loud and clear. So welcome to the Viking Nation Live. I am your host, Larry Godwin. Some call me LG, and some call me other things on the internet, other sites, other pages. I get called other things, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it as long as you call me for dinner. I'm good. So anyway, what do they say? What do they say? All publicity is good publicity, right? So keep them coming, man. Keep talking. Keep it coming. I love it. So anyway, let's talk about Lowndes. This is Lowndes night. Tuesday night was the pregame blitz night. This was Lowndes night. But I got to tell you something up front. One of the things that I was looking forward to was a little bit of R&R, some rest and relaxation from a long season. Because, guys, I got to tell you, doing 2 shows a week and the career that I have and all the other technical projects that I'm working on, this has been a long year, a long year. And many of you know that I travel with my mom to all these games. She's the ultimate football buddy that travels with me on all the shows. And after the game Saturday night, we were driving back, and she looked at me as I was driving. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm just tired. I'm just mentally tired." She says, "You need to take a break. You have a lot going on in your life. You just need to take a break." But so I was thinking that I was going to go through the end of the season, or at least the Viking season, and then just do one more wrap-up show and then just take a break for a few weeks. And then this stuff happened with the coaching search, and it's like, oh my gosh, how can I take a break during this coaching search? So what I may do is pare it back to 1 show a week instead of 2, 1 show a week until we figure out what this coaching search does. I hope it doesn't take that long, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, Tony Miller, the rest of us as well. Yeah, I feel you, man. It's been a long season. It feels like it anyway. Just a few weeks ago, or actually a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how fast the season has flown by. And now here we are talking about it's been such a long season, right? And if you're a Lowndes fan in particular, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you know what? Let's get on with the show and talk about some other things. I was hoping to have a graduated Viking on tonight that had graduated and gone on to college to wrestle in college. You guys know him, Dominic DiTomaso, right? I was hoping to have him on tonight, and maybe he will join us a little bit later on in the broadcast schedule. Maybe something came up with his schedule that prevented him from being on tonight. But he has got a wrestling camp that's coming up. And that is, so if you're a wrestler, if you're in a wrestling family, if you've got a high schooler or someone that's coming up in the wrestling ranks, you may be interested in this. The SGAC Devil Dog Wrestling Camp featuring, let me go ahead and put this on the screen, featuring Dom DiTomaso, 2-time Georgia Greco state champion, 2-time GHSA Georgia state folk style state placer, runner-up and 3rd place, multiple-time Georgia State freestyle and Greco state placer. Well, anyway, he is going to make an appearance. He's basically hosting a wrestling camp that is going to be, when is that? November 18th. I think that's tomorrow. No, the registration deadline is tomorrow. right? So that wrestling camp is coming. The registration deadline is tomorrow. The camp is actually on November 25th, and the location is going to be at the SGAC Devil Dog Wrestling Room. Is it 4615C? And that's Val North. And, that's not the industrial park, but that's right off of North Valdosta Road, I believe. I think that's right. Right. So if you guys are interested in that, just get in touch with Dom or SGAC Devil Dogs, and they will gladly let you be a part of that. And that is $35 per wrestler. So Dom, if you are coming on tonight, just shoot me a text, let me know, and we'll take it from there. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and show you this video that his proud dad sent me. This was Dom's first wrestling victory, I believe. Check this out. I think you'll enjoy this. So Dom's in the dark blue there, I believe. Look at that takedown. First college wrestling win by pin. Check that out. And that is why he was such a good wrestler in high school, right? Fantastic wrestler, one of the best that has come out of Lowndes High School. And hopefully he can make it on to the show tonight, and we could talk to him a little bit more about that. So let's talk about this playoff game that we just had. It was an interesting playoff game. Parents, I don't know, or fans that made the trip, I don't know if you got this same sense, but guys, I've been to a lot of Lowndes playoff games. I've been to a lot of games, period, like most of you have. But I can tell you, every time I step onto the field and get down there, I can sense it during warm-ups, and coaches are always intense. Players are always intense, right? But something was a little bit different at this game, this playoff game. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if there was a feeling in the air of something that was about to happen, or I don't know how to describe it. Something fell off. Just the mood of everyone involved in that game was just different, and I don't know why. But anyway, so anyway, the game progresses, and Lowndes finds itself down 14-0 pretty quickly in that game, right? And then I want to take. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go, right here. All right, so Carrollton is up 14-0, and then this happens. Carrollton kicks off to Lowndes, and check this out. And by the way, these video highlights are courtesy of the Turn Up Man organization group. And if you notice, I put a link to these highlight videos in the comments section. So if you would like to watch, not now, because I want you to stay tuned to the show, but later on, if you want to watch the complete set of highlights, I think it's like 10, 13 minutes long, something like that. So I've put that link into the comments section, and it's a YouTube video, right? So courtesy of the Turn Up Man organizational group. Check this out. How awesome was that? I want to show that to you one more time. So Carrollton kicked off to Lowndes. So if y'all didn't catch that. So the score is Carrollton 14-0. Carrollton kicks off to Kevis Thomas. I'm going to stop it right there for a second. The reason why I'm stopping it there for a second, guys, is you know how in high school football, when during a kickoff, when the ball crosses the end zone, the goal line, right? They blow the ball dead immediately, and the offense gets the ball at the 20-yard line. Kevis made such an athletic play. I don't know if you noticed that, but check this out. Notice where he catches that ball over his head right before it crosses that goal line, because he wanted to return this ball badly. Check this out. You see where he caught that ball over his head, a speeding ball, basically a speeding bullet coming, because that kid had a leg, and that ball was coming at him fast. So he catches the ball right before it goes over the goal line, and you see the ref, he's standing right there in the goal line, so the ball did not cross, and he fields it above his head, tucks it, finds a crease up the middle, and then hits the left side of the field, and then takes it the rest of the way. He was Thomas such an athletic player. And then the sideline goes crazy. And all of a sudden, Lowndes is back into this game. You see the score on the screen. It's 14-7. Carrollton gets the ball a little bit later. They go back and they kick a field goal. And now Lowndes is down 17-7. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to fast forward this video to the 4:57 mark. So Lowndes gets the ball. And man, oh man, they put together a great drive. You see that Carrollton kicks a field goal and they're up 17-7. Lowndes gets the ball on the ensuing kickoff. And this, guys, I'm telling you, if the Lowndes offense during this series was with us all year long, they put together a great drive. Check this out. And that's when the wheels start to fall off. So Lowndes goes zooming down the field, and that particular play that you just saw there, he had a running back going up the middle, and it looks like he's not going to score on that play, but he's getting really, really close. It's down there around the 5-6 yard line, something like that. And he just gets hit, and the defender's player swipes at the ball and basically knocks the ball out of his hands, and he fumbles. And unfortunately, Carrollton jumps on the ball and then zooms down the field and scores a touchdown. Now, the next touchdown they scored to go up 24-7 right before the half, it was a little bit controversial. I got to admit, it was a little bit controversial. I'm going to show you something. Let's see. I think, yeah, here we go. The same highlights. Now, so Carrollton takes over. They get the ball, and check out these highlights. They zoom down the field. They had a pretty good short passing game. I gotta tell you. Their quarterback, fantastic quarterback. He's a freshman, I believe. All right, I'm going to rewind that there. You guys see if you spot something. See if you spot something on this throw. Right there. Did y'all catch that? I don't know if you saw that. But here's a close-up of that. And our fans were going crazy. The coaches on the sideline, the players were going crazy because it looked like offensive pass interference, where this is what it appeared to be anyway. It looked like offensive pass interference where the receiver just tugged where the receiver just tugged our defender's back. Was that Ronnie Davis? I can't remember. He tugged the defender's jersey and just pulled him to the ground, leaves him wide open, and he catches it. Now, here's a close-up. Here's a close-up of that play. Tell me what you think. Oops. What do you think? There's the hand right there. Does that look like the jersey's being tugged? Right there? To me, it does. To me, it does. But it happens in real time. It happens so fast, the defender goes down to the ground quickly, and everyone thinks it's an obvious offensive pass interference, but it's not called, and he waltzes into the end zone for the easy score. And so now that puts it 24-7 going into the half. So look at that series of events. They're up 17-7. We intercept it. We zoom down the field. It looks like we're about to score to make it 17-14 going into the half. We fumble it. They recover, zoom down the field, and then you have this play, and all of a sudden it's 24-7 and everyone's deflated. So that's why I said earlier on that this game was closer than the score appeared. Right. So I don't know. I can't say that 100% that it was offensive pass interference. It does appear that way. When you zoom in on it like that, you got you see, there's the official right there. You see where my mouse is? There's the official staring at it right there. And it looks like that tug is in plain view. Right. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a dumb country boy that is looking at a video and a still shot and giving an opinion, So, but what is done is done. What is done is done. What's the old French saying? C'est la vie. Such is life, right? Yeah, I agree, Tony. Could have been better all year. Could have been better all year. I got it. Hey, Joe Mamone with Prep Gridiron Logistics. Greetings from Los Angeles. Joe is a jet setter. He is a national figure. Proud to call him friend. Joe is with Prep Gridiron Logistics, and he helped put together, not help, but he did put together that Georgia-Florida Challenge earlier this year that brought, 3 teams into Martin Stadium in addition to the Lowndes Vikings. And now next year, we return the favor and go over to Colquitt County to play in the kickoff classic, the very first game of the year over in Moultrie. So guys, go ahead and get used to it. That the very first game of the year next season, we travel to Colquitt County to play the 5:00 game. Yep, it's going to be warm. It's going to be warm. But we play, Colquitt County did us the favor this year. We return the favor next year. So let's take a big crowd over there. I'm just glad to go over to Moultrie next year and not have to play the Colquitt County Packers, aren't y'all? Because that's a good team and that's a hard environment to play in over there. But anyway, so hopefully Joe is putting together a big time matchup for us next year. We'll see. So Joe, glad to see that you're catching us from the left coast over there. I should say the west coast over there. It's 7:30 here, 4:30 out there. So man, I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Chris Will. Chris Will's like, all right, enough stalling. Come on now. Come on. Enough stall. Let's get on. Let's get on with the main event. Right. Chris says, who's the new coach, LG? then he says, Chris, I'm going to look you right into the eye. And look, I'm going to look you right in the eye with a smile on my face and say, I don't know. Travis Hart says, we have to worry about who the next coach will be for next year. We do know one thing for sure. We will have a coach by next season, right? Now, Tim Bishop, he is convinced. Now, and many of you are. I shouldn't say many. Some of you are, because you've let me know. Some of you are convinced that it's going to be Tucker Pruitt, head coach at Fitzgerald. You guys know the name, right? The Pruitt family is a long history of being a football family. They know what they're doing. Robbie Pruitt, great coach at first, won several state championships down in Florida, moved up to Fitzgerald, became the head coach there. That's where Tucker played his high school football. Then for a short period of time, 1 year, became the offensive coordinator for Randy McPherson at Lowndes, did a great job for us. I still remember his diamond formation wide receiver grouping. That was different and pretty effective. Then the next year, he becomes the offensive coordinator for the Valdosta Wildcats, and they subsequently win a state championship that year, right? Then he spends a year with Valdosta, and then the Fitzgerald job comes open. And I think that was 2017 when he became the head coach of Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been there ever since. And he's knocked on the door several times, taking his team deep into the playoffs several times. Last year, won it all. Won the state championship, incidentally beating Thomasville, and Zach Grage was the head coach of Thomasville that faced off with Tucker Pruitt and Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald won that game and became a state champion. And they are the odds-on favorite, not probably, but they are the odds-on favorite to win the AA state championship again this year. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, some of you are connecting the dots, saying that because our superintendent now is Sean Harrelson and he came from Fitzgerald, and some tell me, I don't know this for sure, and I haven't taken the time to confirm this. I guess it's true. Some say that Dr. Harrelson is the one that hired Tucker Pruitt to become the head coach there. So they have a good working relationship. They already know each other. And so when it's a CEO or a manager or supervisor, whoever, athletic director, whoever is in the business of hiring, what do they usually do? They usually, one of the first people they pick up are the people they know that they're already familiar with. And some people are making that connection. They're connecting the dots. To me, that's a bad assumption. It could very well be Tucker Pruitt in the end, but I think we're jumping the gun, assuming that it's Tucker Pruitt. If it ends up Tucker Pruitt, I'll be a big fan. I've always been a Tucker Pruitt fan. I love his offensive mind, and just always have. I respect the Pruitt brand, if you will. But if it's not Tucker Pruitt, and it's Byron Slack, or it's Mark Freeman, or it's Matt DeBuck. Now, I'm not saying any of these guys have applied, right? Those are just some names that have been thrown out there. Then I'll be big fans of them as well. And I'll promote the program, and I'll promote the new coach to the community, with the exception of one coach. If Rush Probst ever gets hired at Lowndes, I will not be a fan. I will not promote that man to this community. No, anybody but him. I'm just saying, some of you are sold on him. Johnny Weaver, I don't know if you're kidding. You're saying Rush Probst to Lowndes. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's not going to happen. I can't say it will never happen, 100% happen, but as close to a 100% as you can get, right? So, but you never know. You never know. Sean Price says, what happened to Coach Ashley Henderson? Now, I lost track of Ashley Henderson. He was the head coach at Thomas County Central before this year, was let go from that program, I think, at the end of last season, and has moved on. I don't know where. He's moved on to. But, you know, on Tuesday night's pregame blitz, that was when it was fresh on everybody's mind. Okay, let me take this call. Hey, caller, welcome to the Viking Nation Live. What's on your mind?
What's up, Larry?
Hey, man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey, for our Viking fans, fellow Viking fans out there, you guys know this voice by now. Long-time Viking himself. This stickman himself, Tim Neesmith. Tim, what you know good, dude?
Not much, man. Trying to stay warm up here in LJ. It's done turned cold.
I hear you. I hear you. Listen,
24th tonight.
Oh man, I thought
Yeah.
it was cold down here. 24. Have you gotten accustomed to that yet?
Oh no, not yet. But the thing about it, where we're renting a cabin in LJ right now while the house is being built.
Gotcha.
So I just don't think they must not have knew what insulation was when they did this cabin, because it is a cold cabin.
It is 24 degrees.
But,
I think it would be cold regardless if it was a cabin or not.
yeah, well, I mean, it helps with insulation, I promise you. But yeah, it's supposed to be 21 Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
Yeah,
it's cold, but doing good. Just got here and made a pot of chili. Let's see what was going on in South Georgia. Looked like y'all had some news this week down there.
a little bit. So even in North Georgia, the news of the Lowndes Vikings travels all the way up north, huh?
Yeah, it travels.
What's your take? What's your take on this, Tim? I'll tell you, when I first heard the news, I was shocked like everybody else. And I was scratching my head, thinking it doesn't make sense that we would dismiss a coach after one season, even if it's a 5-6 record. I think, especially the circumstances that he was hired, it just seemed like it made sense to give him a little bit more time. But Tim, I'll be honest with you, the more that I've dug over the last 3 days, and the more that's been shared with me, that kind of stuff, based on what I've been told, without getting into the details, I agree with the decision.
I guess, Larry, I hadn't been there with us moving. I made it to the Lowndes. I lost the game, and that was it. I had talked to Coach Graves a time or two down there, but I don't think if it's strictly on wins and losses.
Right.
If there wasn't something else behind the walls, I think he's still there. We lost a lot. You lost a 4-year starter. You lost your offensive line.
That's right.
You can overlook a 5-6 season for somebody who's not been here 7 months. I mean, he got here in April. It's November. So you're really behind the 8 ball.
That's right.
And so this is not on wins and losses alone. And evidently there's some things that we don't know as the public. Some people may know, but this is more than wins and losses. Period. That's all I say. It's definitely more than wins and losses.
That's right. So, but you know what? As fans, we don't have all the information. So
no, we don't. We don't. But one thing, Larry, I wanted to comment on, and I seen it somewhere earlier this week on a thread, and I don't remember what thread it was, but going into it now, next year when we start, it'll be our 4th head coach in 5 seasons.
Correct.
And someone said, well, these kids adapt to every semester they have new teachers. There's no difference. I disagree with that analogy.
I do too.
I'm sorry. Listen, math is math. English is English. History is history. Okay. But when you have 3 different coaches running 3 different offenses, the technology, the wording, it's all different. Okay. So these kids have to learn. They have to learn new schemes. They have to learn new wording. Randy McPherson didn't like wristbands. Jamie DeBose did like wristbands. Zach didn't like wristbands. And if Larry Godwin's the next head coach, Larry may want wristbands.
Yep.
So, I disagree with that statement, whoever it was that made it, and I don't even know who it was, but yes, these kids change teachers every semester, but until they brought Common Core math or Common Core into it, English is English, math is math, okay? But 4 head coaches in 5 years for Lowndes High School,
that's tough.
That's a totally different ball game, and I don't care what, if you're single A, double A, private, or 7A, it's a different element.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
So we could go one of 2 ways, Larry. I'm telling you, this could hurt Lowndes High for a while, or we can make the right hire. We can get the kids back. Maybe the kids that quit can come back, and let's get Lowndes High back where Lowndes High is accustomed to be.
Absolutely. And Tim, I am the eternal optimist. And so my attitude going forward is, even though it appears to be a chaotic situation, I believe that this could be our finest hour. People are looking at this program. It's a premier program. In my mind, we've got some fantastic facilities on the way. As a matter of fact, we're replacing our turf, our field turf, at the stadium. During the off season. So I'll put up a picture of it pretty soon. But let me go ahead and do that now. So this is the new turf right there. Some drawings, some renderings with some scribbles. You obviously got one end zone that says Lowndes, one end zone that says Vikings. But we're getting a brand new turf, new indoor facility that's coming on soon. Soon after that, we'll start construction on a new field house. So the facilities are going to be fantastic. The Wesley McDade, the video board's already been replaced. So that's been fixed. So anyway, some great facilities, great program. The administration absolutely loves supporting Lowndes football, right? So the administration support there, the community support there, the booster support there, and the athletes. We got athletes, right? We got athletes.
Right. And someone has, and this week, several people have said that, people be scared to death to apply for this job because, your coach been fired after 1 year.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, as soon as this went live, applications come pouring in, just like they did when DeBose left.
Absolutely.
Just like Randy retired.
Yep.
They will be 100 coaches apply for this job. And if they're not, I'll walk back to Valdosta from LJ.
That's a long walk, man. I hope you're right.
A long walk. Well, I'll get my thumb up, hike my leg, show my leg. But there'll be plenty of people apply for this job. Just like you said, the sports there, the facilities are fine now, but they're upgrading the facilities as we speak.
Correct.
By January, you'll have an indoor practice facility. You're going to have a new weight room, a 2-level weight room, 2-deck, 2-story weight room overlooking the field.
Yep.
New scoreboard. So there will be interest in this job regardless of what just happened. So,
yep.
I hate it. I hate it for the kids. You think these seniors right here, they had 3 head coaches in their 4-year career.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have 16 years of seniors that had the same head coach with Randy.
Yep.
And if you go back to Milt, I don't know what, he was here probably 8 years. And then, Joe Wilson. We won't talk about the Rick Cumberland.
Hey, listen, regardless of who we bring in as the new head coach, we have a volunteer. Candace Marie wants to be the first get back coach. You know what that is, right? Every coach nowadays needs a get back coach.
She wants to be the first get back coach.
That's right. At Lowndes High School.
That's right. Hey, we make it happen.
That's right.
Just put the coach, give her some suspenders, make the coach wear suspenders, and she holds the suspenders.
Could you see Candace out there doing that? Now that would be hilarious.
Yeah, then when he pisses her off, she can let go of him, and it just catapult him to the visitor sideline.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, listen, regardless of who we get, and we've all heard the names thrown out. Listen, it's the same names that gets thrown out during every coaching search, I believe, right? Alan Rodemaker. Tucker Pruitt gets thrown out there. Jason Strickland over at Ware County gets thrown out there. So, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. I'm sure there's going to be some coaches that apply that we don't even know their names. Because this is going to be I'm sure we're going to get applications from across the country. Yeah,
I'm sure there's some from Alabama that may, throw their name in the hat.
Absolutely.
The Mr. GQ up there now at Gainesville High, who come from Hoover.
Josh Niblett,
Josh Niblett. you know, he looks like he's ready to go to the beach.
That's
You
right.
know, he'd be 2 hours from the beach here.
Well,
But
you know, for a coach, I don't know how old Josh Niblett is, but he's probably in his what 40s, late
he's
40s maybe.
late 40s.
Yeah, but that dude is in shape. That dude is built.
Yeah, we seen him last year at the Dome, and my wife was like, "Who is that guy?" I mean, because you could see it now, but they said he works out with the kids every day. He's in the gym,
Yeah,
with them out, you know. But yeah, there'll be a lot of applications. I promise you.
that's right.
Those coaches that are coaching in the playoffs that once their season's done, they'll probably throw their name in the hat. Have you heard? I hadn't heard. Have they said how long applications will run, Larry?
There's not a particular time frame on it, but I will tell you this. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the screen. I don't know if you can see this, Tim, on the screen or
No,
not.
I'm not on. I'm just on the phone. I'm not on the thing.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is put this on the big screen. I'll just read this to you. So the very last part of this job listing that Sean Harrelson had put up. So at the very bottom, right? The time frame for naming a new coach will be short and intense. That's all it says. There's no time frame on there. It just says the time frame for naming a new coach will be short and intense.
Well, just my personal opinion, and I told someone this week. I feel like there'll be a coach in place by Christmas.
That would be a pretty good bet. That would be a pretty good bet. I'm thinking probably before then, but that's probably a good bet.
Yeah, I'm just thinking they want a coach ready to hit the dirt running January 1.
Right.
That's my thinking. January 1st, they want somebody in here. We're not going to have nobody in here come April, which, the month for spring practice. Let's get a coach in here. Let's get him accustomed, meet his players, get the system kind of working. I feel like by Christmas you'll have a head coach. It may be sooner. It may be. I'm just saying. I feel like Christmas you'll have, because I think you got to run that thing for 2-3 weeks. You got to run it. I don't think anybody who's in the playoffs would apply while their team's still playing.
That's right.
I could be wrong. So you probably got to wait until the season's over, maybe, and then you interview. But I feel like by January 1, they're going to have somebody nailed down.
Yep.
So, all right, man. We'll tell everybody in South Georgia hello. We'll be coming home next week. I'll be coming home a little early, but then we're coming home for Thanksgiving, so we'll be there through. I'll come home Tuesday. The kids are coming home. Kathy and the kids are coming home Wednesday.
Gotcha. Well, stay warm up there in your log cabin as you brave the cold front up there, and stay safe on your trip down next week.
I appreciate it. And y'all tell everybody there on the show to go watch the Larry Godwin Christmas Annex.
No. Don't be spreading that rumor.
Y'all have good, and go Vikings.
See you, man.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, Tim. Go Vikings. Always good to hear from a fellow Viking, even though he's moved off. Now, Don Lockhart, I would love. So I see. I don't know who's first put up there, but listen, I would love to see Doug Belk back at Lowndes, prowling the sidelines as head coach. I don't think that's going to happen. He's doing big things in college at the D1 level. So I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to see it. Tim Bishop, Larry in an elf suit. Tim, that ain't happening. Now, listen, I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were asking me, maybe it was last night. They were asking me a question about the show itself. And he said, sometimes it seems like you're addressing someone that has made a comment on the show, but he said, I don't see their comments. So what are you doing? What are you talking about? Or who are you talking to? So I had to explain to him how this works. So the software console, the dashboard that I see, Okay. It basically has a feed coming in. It shows me on the screen, shows my guests, my screens that I shared, software that I do, all that kind of stuff. And then I've got my mixer board over here. But on the right hand side of this screen is my comments feed. And you got to remember that I send this feed out to multiple destinations, several Facebook pages, a couple of YouTube pages, YouTube channels, that kind of stuff. So all the comments come in to one screen so I can see them and reply to them. But you guys can't see them all. So if you're watching this show tonight on the Viking Nation Live Facebook page, those are all the comments that you're going to see. You're only going to see comments from other people that watch it through the Viking Nation. So if someone watches on the Pregame Blitz Facebook page or the Freedom Network's Facebook or the YouTube channel, I can see it, but you can't see those because you're not on those other destinations. That's why. So that's why I guess when I reply to people specifically, I probably should put their comment on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So when I say reply to Tim Bishop and he says LG in green tights, what more could the world ask for? Tim, half the world would go blind if you saw that. So that ain't happening, my brother. That ain't happening. Some of you saying, yeah, maybe announce it after the holidays. Some say after Thanksgiving. Elaine, I don't think it's going to happen that quickly where you can make an announcement after Thanksgiving. Because Thanksgiving is next week? I think that's too quick. I think we learned our lesson from when Coach Grage was hired. Now, I'm not saying that it was a mistake to hire Coach Grage as quickly as we did, but in hindsight, we probably should have taken a little bit more time to vet the candidate, right? I'm not saying that we'd have found anything, but what did we hire Coach Grage in less than 2 weeks last time? Mark Dixon, did Coach Allagood contact you about dinner? He did not. He did not. And I'm a little bit jealous, Mark. I'm a little bit jealous because I saw my buddy and fellow Rebel Andre Newsom. He got asked to speak to the team before this week's playoff game. Listen, man, I played with and graduated with Andre the Giant. That's what I called him back in high school. But I didn't get an invitation to speak to the team. What am I, chopped liver? Come on, Coach Allagood. What's it going to take to me to be able to address my alma mater before a playoff game? I'm just kidding. I'm sure Andre did a fantastic job. He's a pretty inspirational kind of guy. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's one of the key figures at the VLPRA. So he helps with youth league sports in this area. So Andre, he and I go way back. Great guy. So does a great job of cooking barbecue as well. So I'm going to put something else on the screen. This was that job listing that I was talking about a while ago. Check this section out. This section right here. I'm highlighting this so to bring your attention to it on the screen. Guys, I'm going to ask you to read between the lines here because that's what I did. Check this section out of this listing. Football has always been an integral part of our community. So the search for a candidate who desires to be a part of the Viking winning traditions will not be taken lightly, and this is key. The ideal candidate will recognize the importance of working cohesively with the One Lowndes family, which includes players, administration, coaches, faculty, staff, touchdown club, parents, and our supportive fan base. Take it for what it's worth. You can read between the lines, right? Elaine, I'm sorry that you can't see that. I tried to blow it up on the screen as much as I can, but that's the listing, the job listing itself. And if you want, I could put the link to the listing so you guys can click on it and read it at your leisure a little bit later on. So anyway, let me go ahead and do that before I forget. It'll just take a second here. I can talk and type at the same time. It'll take me a second. Okay, so here's the listing right here. So I'm going to put this link, and you guys, if you have, you're right, Tim, it was in the press release, but if you haven't seen it, just put the listing there, and you can click on that and see the verbiage of that. Guys, listen, I've been doing this long enough. I've been in the corporate world long enough to be able to read between the lines of things like job listings. They tell you it tells you something without telling you something, if you get my drift. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything without saying something. Okay. So I just thought it was very telling that the listing says the ideal candidate will recognize the importance of working cohesively with the One Lounge family, which includes our players, administration, coaches, faculty, staff, touchdown club, parents, and our supportive fan base. Yeah. All that stuff. I agree. That's important, right? That's important. So take it for what it's worth. So we threw out some names out there, right? We threw out some names. Where do we Chase Garnto? I don't know what you're talking about, Chase. Did you put out a comment or something? I guess you could have. I don't know. So what is it? What is it? Jason Anderson. Jason, I can always count on Jason Anderson to go. You just cut you straight, just right down to the quick. All right. Jason says that a-holes need not apply. To me, that was funny. We might as well laugh about it, guys, because if you dwell on it long enough, it is still kind of upsetting and depressing and things like that. Elaine Day, you make a good point. We are One Lounge, and you know, when I guess it was Wes Taylor that came out with this, not slogan. It's more to me. It's more than a slogan. It's almost a credo. Some people call it credo. Some say credo. It's almost a creed, if you will, when the lounge community espouses One Lounge. That's what it's supposed to mean, where we all work cohesively together as a community, as a school system, as a county commission, as a city government. You can have disagreements, but you don't have to be disagreeable, right? That's what One Lounge is. We live in a great community, and I don't think anyone disagrees with that. We live in a great community filled with great people. We've got some great pastors here. We've got some great business people here. Our school administrators are great. Even though I disagree with them sometimes, I support them 100% because they're good people at heart. And so it hurts me. It hurts me when there's hurt in the community. And when we have a blow to the body lounge, when this happened, this announcement came out Tuesday morning. And I think that's why everybody was so upset, because we are a small, we're a growing community, but we are still a small community that I think for the most part cares for one another. Sometimes we disagree vehemently, but we still care for one another. I think, at least I do. I hope you guys do as well. So whether you are the county chairman, the superintendent, the athletic director, the head football coach, the janitor, the person that pays their taxes, even the person that doesn't pay their taxes, I hope you pay your taxes. Everyone deserves respect. Everyone deserves to be treated respectfully. Even football players deserve to be treated respectfully. That doesn't mean that coaches can't cuss at them. Listen, if you've ever played sports, even back in when I played, the mid to late 80s, if a coach got upset with you, He was going to cuss at you. That was just the way it was. But I was telling somebody this week, this is the analogy that I painted. I said that there is I use two analogies, but I'm going to use this one. Okay. Let's say your mom and dad, for whatever reason, your dad, grew up with you, you love your dad, right? Your biological father, and he gets mad at you and he cusses at you. But that's okay. You overlook it because he's your dad. You love your dad. He's been around for a while. You respect him, that kind of stuff. He's already earned your respect because of all the things that he's done for you. He's been around for a long, long time. But let's say for argument's sake that your parents split for some reason. And not very much time goes by and there's a new man in the house now that you're forced to call dad that hasn't earned your respect yet. And then that dude starts cussing at you. You see the difference? Both of them use the same language, but one hasn't earned the respect yet. I'm not saying that's this situation. I'm just pointing out an analogy. So it could have been a situation like that, right? I don't know. I wasn't there. All I can go on is what I've been told. And I'm sure that y'all have heard very, very similar stories. So that's the picture that I see in my mind anyway. And if you've ever gone through a step parent situation, let me go ahead and put this out there. I grew up in a stepfather family. My stepdad cared for me. I didn't have a problem. Okay. So I'm not saying step parents are bad. I'm just saying when it happens so quickly and all of a sudden a different person shows up on the scene that hasn't earned your respect yet, and he talks to you harshly, then you may push back a little bit, or you may go run to your mom or your other authority figures and complain about that dude. So anyway. Oh, did he? Yeah, I just got another text that someone else used that analogy today. May have. So anyway, because I think it fits, right? I just think it fits. But regardless of the situation now, it is what it is. That old worn out saying, that old cliche, it is what it is. That's the situation that we find ourselves in. So that's the last time I'm going to talk about the Zach Grage dismissal, okay? Because we can't control it. We don't have anything to do with it. All we can do as a community is support our administration and move forward full speed ahead. That's all we can do as a community. So as a community, as fans, as the Viking One Lounge Nation, right? So what do? Do we spend the next several weeks complaining about the coach shouldn't have been dismissed? Yes, he should. That kind of stuff. We can have those academic arguments if you want, or we can spend our time, speculating about and having a good time about who the next coach is going to be, and wondering and guessing out loud what kind of offense they're going to run, and do all the things that fans typically do during an off season, right? Because guys, I just don't like dwelling on the negative. Let's move forward, get behind our administration. And most of you do probably by now. Okay. As the news has leaked out, as you have heard more details, that kind of stuff. And I'm assuming the details that we heard are correct. Then I'm starting to buy into that camp that this was probably the right decision, even though I still don't have 100% of the picture, right? I hear stories from people that I trust. And when you start to put all those puzzle pieces together, you start to think, well, maybe this was the right decision. So I'll assume that it was until I'm proven otherwise, or until someone tells me a different story. that sounds believable. So let's move forward. Now, Chris Wills, you are way ahead of the game. This is what I want. I want an offensively minded guy that doesn't mind throwing the ball. I've been railing about this all season long. One of the major problems that we had was we're just not a very good passing team. Now, this is me putting my LG complaining hat back on. What does it take to establish and develop a passing game at Lowndes High School? A consistent passing game at Lowndes High School. I'm not saying an air raid offense where we abandon the run like Collins Hill did, although they did beat us pretty soundly a couple years ago. I'm not saying that we implement an air raid offense where the running back never touched the ball again. But dadgum, in modern day football, I would think that you got to have some type of effective passing game, don't you think? Yeah, of course, you got to have an offensive line to be able to pass block. But can't we teach our offensive line and show them or at least give them the skills to be able to pass protect? We don't have a problem teaching them how to run block. We don't have a problem teaching a guard how to pull and trap, right? Why is it so hard to teach our kids to throw and catch the ball? I don't know. I don't go to all the practices, so I don't know. I'm just asking the question out loud. Can we get someone in here that actually likes to throw the ball some? Rufus Demand says a transfer portal. Absolutely. Let's open up a Georgia State transfer portal. I'm all for it. Rufus, as long as they transfer correctly and legally. They got to make a bona fide move. No recruiting. Okay. Casey Harrell says, Lordy, I wish. Yeah, absolutely, Casey. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you guys. We're running a couple minutes over time, but I don't think you guys mind. You guys are saying the obvious. Chase, you're saying we have the talent. Absolutely. We're Lowndes freaking High School. Some of you thought I was going to use that other word, didn't you? No, we're Lowndes freaking High School. We got the talent to do it. And if we don't have the talent to do it well yet, we have the talent to develop, to show them the skill. We've got the resources. If it's a matter of coaching, I think Kevin Peitsch can teach these guys how to catch a ball. He's done a pretty good job of it when he's given a chance. We've had some coaches in the past that know how to coach quarterbacks. Let them coach quarterbacks. Right? Lance Gerald's great quarterback coach. Josh Akers, great quarterback coach. Let him show someone how to be a quarterback instead of handing the ball off all the time. I know I'm getting on my soapbox, right? I know I'm getting on my soapbox. But all I'm saying is if you take a look at the stats, I'm a stats guy. I know I'm a stats guy. But if you take a look at the stats, and I try to be as objective as possible, if that's even possible, but I try to be as objective as possible. So what I did was I compared this year's offensive stats with the stats from 2019. Now, some would say that was a state finalist year. That's unfair. But the reason I went to 2017 was we had a sophomore quarterback then in Ja'Cory Brown. I think he was a sophomore in 2019, right? Yeah, because he spent 2 years with DuBose. So in 2019, he was a sophomore, right? And so that's why I went back. Now, we did have different players at receiver and running back and a different offensive line, that kind of stuff. But if you take a look at total offense, just total offense, in 2019, our total offense was 373 yards average per game. In 22, our average offensive production was 275 yards. That's a 100-yard difference. A 100-yard difference per game. And a lot of that, well, you guys know where I'm going by now. You guys know. But we actually had a few more passing yards per game this year than we did in 2019. I should say that. My point is the talent is there. We can learn how to throw the ball. Marvis, as the years progressed, he got better and better at throwing the ball as long as they let him, right? And I just don't know why they didn't let him more. He put up a lot of yards against Grayson. He put up a lot of passing yards, I believe, against Camden. Put up a pretty fair amount against Carrollton. So it can. Candace, I know that was a different type of offensive line. It's hard to compare. It's very difficult in high school anyway to compare one year to another year versus, let alone 3 years apart and a different set of players. But what my point was, we're averaging 100 yards less per game. That was my overall point, not necessarily the personnel that's involved. So, but 100 yards less per game, that's a big deal in high school, right? Yeah, Candace, we did cover that. You got to have offensive line that can pass protect. But again, we're Lions High School. We can afford to at least turn our coaches loose or bring in coaches that know how to do this. One or the other. Either the existing coaches can do this or the new guy brings it. To me, I hope we can do it with our coaches, but that's up to the new guy. I don't know. But I've seen our coaches develop an offensive line before. This is Lions High School. It's not like we haven't had good offensive lines in the past. Now, don't get me wrong. The offensive line that we had this year, I think they did what they were taught to do. That's my take on it. And we did have a young offensive line. And that did get better as the year progressed. That's not what I'm saying. So I'm not poo-pooing any current player group or anything like that. But if we don't have it in place, let's put it in place. If we need more resources, we've got the good administration, right? Now here we are with Tim Bishop poo-pooing our show. He says, Larry, it's time to say goodnight. Tim, you are exactly right. You are exactly right. It is time to say goodnight. It's already well after 8 o'clock. This is usually an hour-long show. But guys, I promise to stick with you until we name a new head coach before I take a few weeks off. So anyway, we'll see you next. Not next Thursday night. Next Thursday night is what? Is that Thanksgiving next Thursday night? So we'll probably do maybe a Wednesday night show because, listen, I don't expect you to watch on Thursday night, right? So we'll probably do a Wednesday night show next week, or maybe we'll do it Tuesday. I'll let you guys know. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Fantastic weekend. Enjoy your weekend. And y'all remember this, right? We are one Lounge. We are one nation. We are Vikings forever. Go Vikings. That's all I got to say. So y'all have a good one. I'm out.